Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do paper 2 for IGCSE Edexcel Maths A. This is higher paper 2 for the May-June 2025 series. I've already posted the paper 1 solution. You can check out the link above. And if you're someone who's struggling with a specific topic, you can check out the link above because in this playlist you will find a video for each topic that comes in higher. And all of the questions in these videos are exam questions. So you'll find exam questions 2018 to 2025 onwards, and there are ample questions over there for you to learn and understand how to solve questions for that topic. So let's see how difficult this paper was, or was it like easy overall? It says Rio has 6 cards. He writes a number on each card so that the range of the numbers is 10. The median of the numbers is 7.5 and the mode of the numbers is 6. Rio arranges the cards so that the numbers are in order of size. 3 of the numbers are hidden. Complete the cards above to show the 3 numbers that are hidden. Since they're in order of size, that makes it easier for us to understand what the missing numbers are. For such type of questions, you need to know how to differentiate between the terms range, median, and mode. Now, range is maximum value minus minimum value. Median is your middle value. And mode is your highest frequency value. So the value that occurs the most, like which has the highest frequency, that is your mode. Now they said that the range is 10. We have the maximum value, which is 14. So 10 equals to 14 minus the minimum value. So the minimum value would be 14 minus 10, and that's 4, which means this number is 4. Then it said that the mode is 6. So if the median is 7.5 and there's 6 numbers, median value will be in the middle of the third and the fourth one. This is right in the middle. So 6 cannot come over here, but it can come over here. Since 6 is the mode, that means it's occurring more than once. So that's where 6 goes. Now for the 7.5, for us to get a median of 7.5, we need to have a number greater than 7 over here. For us to get a median of 7.5, we need a number that is greater than 7.5 over here. So for median, what we do is to find the average of the third and the fourth value. So 6 plus x over 2. 7.5 times 2 equals to 6 plus x, which is going to be 15. So 15 minus 6 is x, and that's 9. So the third number is 9. That's how you solve this question. Then we have transformation of shapes. On the grid, enlarge shape A with a scale factor and center 0, 1. This is our center, 0, 1. So the distance of this point from the center is 2. And the scale factor is given as 3, which means for the enlarged shape, the distance is going to be 2 times 3, which is 6. So we draw a line which is 6 units long till here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then this line has a distance of 1 unit from the center, which means 1 times 3, that's 3. So now it's going to be 3 units from the center. Again, this one is also going to be 3 units. Then this 2 is going to become a 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the 1 is a 3 again. And then the 3 is a 9. This is your enlarged shape. Since the center lies on shape A, that's why the enlarged shape is overlapping the given shape. Describe fully the single transformation that maps triangle P onto triangle Q. So for the transformation, what's happening over here is that we're rotating shape P 180 degrees about the center 5, 5. Why is it about the center 5, 5? because if we connect all of these points, corresponding points specifically, on both the shapes, they pass through the point 5,5. So in your 180-degree rotation, it's very simple to find the center of rotation in case it's not given. What you do is you connect corresponding points on both the shapes, and the point through which all of the lines are passing through, that is your center of rotation. So this 5,5 is your center of rotation. So 180 degrees rotation about the center 5,5. This transformation cannot be an enlargement because the size of the shape is not changing. It cannot be translation because in translation, the direction of the shape does not change. It remains the same. Over here, we can see the direction of shape P has changed. Then apart from that, we have reflections. It can't be a reflection because in reflection, you're facing the same side. Like, when you see your reflection in the mirror, your face is facing your face. Over here, the direction is opposite. If it was a reflection, it should have been like this. So it's not like that. So the only option we're left with is the rotation. And for the rotation, you just connect the opposite points, and that will give you the center of rotation when it's a 180-degree rotation. Then we have two mixed numbers being subtracted. So whenever we have fractions with unlike denominators being subtracted, we have to make the denominators equal. But before we do that, in this case, we convert the mixed number into an improper fraction first. So for that, you times the denominator by the whole number and add the result to the numerator. 7 times 3 is 21. 21 plus 1 is 22. So the denominator remains the same. What changes is the numerator right now. Again, 7 times 3 is 21. 21 plus 4 is 25. So this is the improper fraction for the given mixed numbers. Now that the denominators are different, we make them the same by multiplying the first fraction by 7 and the second fraction by 3. Both the numerator and denominators will get multiplied by the given numbers, not just the denominator. So 7 times 22 is going to give us 154. This is 21. 25 times 3 is 75. And again over 21. As you can see, the denominators are equal now, which means we can combine it as a single fraction and solve the numerators. We never add or subtract the denominators. They remain the same. What is added and subtracted is just the numerator. So 154 minus 75 is going to be 79 over 21. And then to convert it into a mixed number, we divide 79 by 21, which is 21 times 3 is 63. Subtract the 2, that's 16. So that's 3 whole number, 16 over 21, which is exactly the same as the fraction given in the question. Then it says, using ruler and compasses only, construct the perpendicular bisector of the line AB. Show all your construction lines. So when you're trying to construct a perpendicular bisector, the first step is to take your compass and open it to more than half of the line AB. So for that, you need to measure your line AB first. Let's say the line AB is 6 centimeters. So you will open your compass to more than 3 centimeters. Once you've done that, you put your compass at point A and draw an arc above and below the line. Similarly, you put your compass at point B with the same length that's being opened and draw another arc above and below the line. Once you've done that, you're going to connect the intersections of the two arcs with a straight line, and this straight line is going to be your perpendicular bisector. To check if this is correct, you measure your distance from A to the perpendicular bisector, and if it is exactly half of line AB, then that means your perpendicular bisector is correct. Then the diagram shows two similar quadrilaterals ABCD and EFGH. AB is 5 centimeters, BC is 4 centimeters, CD is Y centimeters, EF is X centimeters, FG is 10 centimeters, and GH is 24 centimeters. We have to work out the value of X. So whenever we have similar shapes, you need to remember that each similar length, like corresponding lengths on both sides, like for example, 4 and 10 are similar to each other. So 4 is turning into a 10 by a scale factor. And that same scale factor is turning 5 into X, and Y becomes 24. So the scale factor is common for all the lengths. To figure out the scale factor, what you can do is you can divide the new length by the old one. So 10 divided by 4, and that's equal to 2.5. So 2.5 is a scale factor. In the first part, they're asking us to find X. So for X, we multiply 5 with 2.5, and that gives us a value of 12.5 centimeters. Then the next part, they're probably asking us to find the value of Y. Yep. So for Y, what you will do is, now we're going backwards. We're going from the bigger to the smaller shape. So Y would be 24 divided by the scale factor. When you're going from the smaller to the bigger shape, you multiply the scale factor to the length. But if it's the other way around, like bigger to smaller, you divide the length by the scale factor. So 24 divided by 2.5 is 9.6 centimeters. That's how you solve questions for similar shapes. Then we have a question on ratios. It says Paul, Sam, and Tia share 240 pounds in the ratio 3:4:5. Sam and Tia each give 10 pounds of their share to Paul. Work out the ratios of the amounts of money that Paul, Sam, and Tia now have. Give your answer in simplest form. So first, let's find the initial ratios. So for Paul, it's going to be 3/12 times 240. For the 12, we added 3 to 4 and 5. That's equal to 12. Whenever we're creating a fraction from a ratio, you add up all of the quantities in the ratio. That becomes the denominator of the fraction, and numerator is this thing that we're talking about. So if we talk about Paul, then that's going to be 3. So that gives us a value of 60 pounds. Then for Sam, that's 4/12 times 240. That's going to be 80 pounds. And then for Tia, that's 5/12 times 240, which is going to be 100 pounds. Now Sam and Tia are giving 10 pounds each to Paul. So Paul's new share is going to be 60 plus 10 plus 10, which is 80 pounds. Sam would be 10 less than 80, so that's 70 pounds. And then Tia would be 10 less than 100, which is 90. So Paul is to Sam is to Tia. The new share, 80 is to 70 is to 90. The zeros get cancelled out. So 8 is to 7 is to 9. That is your new ratio in its simplified form. Then we have a question on percentages. It says Tim buys a bracelet for 4,000 Swiss francs. The value of the bracelet increases by 7% each year. Work out the value of the bracelet at the end of 3 years, giving your answer correct to the nearest Swiss franc. So the initial price of the bracelet is 4,000. It's increasing by 7%. So that means 1 plus 7/100 gets multiplied with 4,000. And in the bracket is raised to the power of 3. Remember that when you have like exponential increase, this is like exponential increase basically. For exponential increase, your formula is going to be the same as compound interest. Compound interest is P times 1 plus R/100 to the power of t. If it's exponential decrease, then instead of writing 1 plus R/100, you just write 1 minus R/100 because the quantity is decreasing in value. When it's increasing in value, it's 1 plus R/100. So when you plug this in the calculator, what you should get is 4900.172. They want the answer correct to the nearest Swiss franc, so that's going to be 4900. That is the value of the bracelet after 3 years. Then simultaneous equations. So 3x plus 5y equals to 8 and 4x plus y equals to negative 3.5. This is our first equation. This is our second equation. So to solve this simultaneously, what we can do is we can use the substitution method over here. In the second equation, I can make y the subject and we're left with negative 4x minus 3.5. So this is the third equation now. We can substitute this in the first equation. Then we'll have an equation just in terms of x. We solve it for x. And once we get the value of x, we can put it back into the third equation to get the value of y. So now I'll show you how to do it. So 3x plus 5 bracket negative 4x minus 3.5 equals to 8. 3x minus 20x minus 5 times 3.5, that's 17.5 over here, equals to 8. Collect the like terms. So negative 17x equals to 8 plus 17.5, which is 25.5. And then we divide that by 17. So 25.5 divided by negative 17, and x is negative 1.5. Now for the corresponding y value, we substitute x equals to negative 1.5 in the equation, which gives us a value of 2.5. So when x is negative 1.5, y is 2.5. That's your answer. Then they've given us an inequality and they want us to solve it. So solving an inequality is pretty much the same as solving an equation. The only difference is that instead of the equal to sign, you have either greater than or less than. So we collect the like terms on each side. I'm going to bring the 2t on the other side, which makes it negative 3t minus 2t, and then less than 15 minus 7. That's going to be negative 5t less than 8. Now we will divide both sides by negative 5 to isolate t over here. So when we divide both sides by a negative number, the inequality flips, so it becomes greater than in this case, and a over negative 5 is negative 1.6. So your answer is t is greater than negative 1.6. Always remember this, that when you're dividing both sides of an equal to sign with a negative number, you will change your inequality sign. If it's less than, it becomes greater than. If it's greater than, it will become less than. Now they've given us a diagram where the region R shown is shaded and bounded by 3 straight lines. We have to write down the 3 inequalities that define the region R. So let's first begin with the horizontal and the vertical lines because that's easier. So we have a line at y equals to 3 and we have a line at x equals to 2. So for x equals to 2, if you notice, the region that's shaded, over there the values of x are increasing. So if the values of x are increasing over here, that means the inequality is going to be x is greater than equal to 2. The reason why it's not greater than, but greater than equal to 2, because the line is a solid straight line. If it was a dotted line, it would be just greater than. But since it's a solid straight line, we add the equal to sign. Then for y equals to 3, the shaded region is above the line. Above the line, if you notice, the values of y are increasing. It's going from 3, then 4, then 5, 6, and so on. So that means this is also going to be y is greater than equal to 3. Now for the third one, we have to first create the equation of this line. We know that the y-intercept is 9, but what's going to be the slope? For the slope, we can pick 2 points. Let's say we pick this and this. So 7 minus 3 over 2 minus 6. That's 4 over negative 4, which is negative 1. Y equals to negative x plus 9. If you're someone who doesn't know how to create the equation, remember, slope-intercept form is y equals to mx plus c. M is your slope and c is your y-intercept. Y-intercept is the point through which the line is crossing through the y-axis. So that's why I wrote 9 over here. And then m is the slope, which we calculated using 2 points on the line of the equation. So we took 2, 7, and we took 6 and 3. You can take any other point as well. There's no restriction, but you have to make sure that the points need to lie on the graph of the line. Then we use the gradient formula to find the gradient, which was negative 1, and that gives the equation. Now for the inequality, if we notice, for this one, the shaded part is underneath the line. So underneath the line, the values of y are decreasing. It's 9, then 8, 7, 6. It's becoming lower in value, which means for this, the inequality is going to be y is less than equal to negative x plus 9. These are the three inequalities for the given region. Then ABD and ABC are right angle triangles. AB is 16 centimeters, BC is 12 centimeters, and AD is 1.5 times AC. Find the length of CD. So first find the length of AD, because AD is 1.5 times AC. So if you look at the triangle ABC, we have BC, we have AB, and it's a right angle triangle, which means we can use Pythagoras to figure out AC. AC, which is the hypotenuse. So AC squared equals to 12 square plus 16 square. That's going to be 144 plus 256, which is 400. Then we will square root both sides, and AC is going to be 20 centimeters. Now AD is 1.5 times AC. So 1.5 times 20 is going to be 30 centimeters. So if you look at your triangle again, for the triangle BDA, we have the hypotenuse, which is 30. We have the other length as well. We need to find BD. Once we have BD, we can easily subtract 12 from that to get CD. So 30 square equals to 16 square plus BD square. That's 900 minus 256 equals to BD square. 900 minus 256 is 644. We square root both sides, and that gives us a value of 25.37 centimeters. So CD is going to be 25.37 minus 12, which gives us 13.37. We want the answer correct to three significant figures. That's going to be 13.4 centimeters. So far the questions are very direct, nothing too complicated. Then says Khalid has a box of counters. 28 of the counters are blue. The rest of the counters are orange. Khalid is going to take at random a counter from the box. The probability that Khalid will take an orange counter is 4 over 9. Work out the number of orange counters are in the box. 17 are red, 28 are blue. We don't know the number of orange counters, so let's assume that it's X. Total counters are going to be 17 plus 28 plus X, which equals to 45 plus X. if we have the probability for an orange counter, which is 4/9, isn't 4/9 going to be the same as x, which is the number of orange counters, over 45 plus x, which is the total number of counters? So now we have this equation. We cross multiply to get rid of the fractions on both sides and solve it for x. So 4 times 45 is going to be 180. Collect the like terms on each side. So 180 equals to 9x minus 4x. That's going to be 5x. And then 180 divided by 5, which equals to 36. So the number of orange counters are 36. Then it says expand and simplify. 3x, bracket 2x plus 5, and then bracket 7x minus 4. This is similar to a triple bracket expansion. So what I would suggest is expand these two first, or you can even expand the double bracket first. Actually, let's do that. Expand the double bracket and then multiply the result with 3x. So 3x bracket 2x times 7x minus 4, and then plus 5 times 7x minus 4. So that's 3x bracket 14x squared minus 8x plus 35x minus 20. Collect the like terms. 14x squared. 35 minus 8 is 27. So 27x and then minus 20. Then you multiply 3x with all of the terms. So 3 times 14 is going to be 42. So 42x cubed plus 27 times 3, that's going to be 81. So 81x squared, and then minus 60x. This is your fully expanded and simplified answer. Then it says the frequency table gives information about the times and minutes that 60 people took to complete a puzzle. Complete the cumulative frequency table. So using the frequency table, we'll complete the cumulative frequency table. In cumulative frequency, what we do is we start with the original frequency value, like the first one, and then keep on adding it to the next. So for cumulative frequency, first value would be 8. Then would be 13 plus 8, which is 21. Then 21 plus 12, which is going to be 33. Then 33 plus 17, which is going to be 50. Then 50 plus 7, which is 57. And then 57 plus 3, which is equal to 60. To check if your cumulative frequency values are wrong or correct, make sure that the last value is the same as the frequency value given in the question. So if there's 60 people in total, your last cumulative frequency value also needs to be 60. This is your litmus test for checking whether your values are correct or incorrect. So remember, you're adding each consecutive value. Whatever you get for the second one, you add to the next, and then to the next, and so on. Then on the grid opposite, draw a cumulative frequency graph for a table. So what we will do is, for the x values, we will take the maximum points of the intervals. So that was 10, and then we had 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60. And then for the y value, we will take the cumulative frequency values. So that's 8, 21, 33, 50, 57, and 60. So these are the coordinates that we will plot over here and then connect them to make our graph. So 8 and 10, that's over here. 20 and 21. 30 and 33. 40 and 50. And 60 with 60. Starting with 0. This is our cumulative frequency graph. Use your graph to find an estimate for the median time. And then we have to find an estimate for the number of these people who took more than 45 minutes to complete the puzzle. For the median time, we draw a line from 30 towards the graph and see what is our value. So for me, it's coming out to be 27. Obviously, they'll give us a range of values because it's an estimate, so it can be different for everyone depending on how they have drawn their graph. Then for the number of people who took more than 45 minutes, what we do is we draw a line from 45 minutes towards the curve and that's giving me 51, 54 over here. So more than 45 is all of this part, which means the number of people are going to be 60 minus 54, which is 6. So 60 minus 54, and it's 6 people that took more than 45 minutes. Then we have 5 graphs, and they want us to write down the letter of the graph that could have the equation y equals to 5 minus x squared. So this is like a transformation, and I'm going to show you step by step so that you know how to identify the graph. Y equals to x squared is this. Over here, x squared is negative, which means our graph got reflected in the x-axis. This is y equals to negative x squared. Next, we're adding 5 to it, which means the graph moved 5 units up. So now it's passing through 5 instead of 0. So this is y equals to 5 minus x squared. So based on that, this is the only graph that shows a quadratic equation which is negative. D is a positive quadratic equation. This would mostly be y equals to x squared minus 5. Like I'm just guessing. This is your rational function. This is your cubic rational. This is your straight line. So for these type of questions, to avoid losing marks, remember the transformations because they've given you the equation over here. So just start with the parent function, which is y equals to x squared, transform it step by step, and you will reach your answer. So that's B. Then write on the letter of the graph that could have the position, that could have the equation y equals to 2x cubed. I already told you C is the cubic curve, so for this, it's going to be C. That's your y equals to 2x cubed. Then we have indices. Simplify 2a cubed over 10a to the power of 7 times c squared whole power negative 3. So whenever we have negative powers, first step is to make the power positive. We can make the power positive by taking reciprocal of the fraction. When you take reciprocal of the fraction, we swap the numerator with the denominator, and this way your power becomes positive. So it's going to be 10a to the power of 7 c squared over 2a cubed, and now the whole power is positive 3. Then whenever we have power outside the bracket and inside the bracket, we multiply the powers, and the power also gets distributed on the coefficient. So it's going to be 10 cubed times a to the power of 7 times 3 times c to the power of 2 times 3 divided by 2 to the power of 3 times a to the power of 3 times 3. As you can see, the 3 got distributed on every single term in the bracket. We didn't leave anything. So that's 1000 times a to the power of 21 times c to the power of 6 over 8 times a to the power of 9. 1000 divided by 8 is 125. A to the power of 21 divided by a to the power of 9 means that we're going to subtract the powers. Why? Because similar bases are being divided. So 21 minus 9 is going to give us 12, and then c to the power of 6 comes as it is. This is your final answer. So in the same question, we apply different rules of indices. We use the rule for negative powers, then the rule for whenever there's a power outside inside the bracket. Whenever we are dividing similar bases, we subtract the powers. So 3 different rules were used in one question. Then rearranging the formula, we have to make t the subject of the given formula. So first, cross multiply and get rid of the fraction. C bracket 7 minus 8t square equals to t square plus 3. Expand the bracket. 7c minus 8t square c equals to t square plus 3. Since we have to make t the subject, collect all of the terms with t on one side. So 7c minus 3 over here, and t square minus plus 8t square c. Then take t square common. So that's 1 plus 8c in the bracket. After that, divide 7c minus 3 by 1 plus 8c. Right now, t squared is the subject of the equation. They want t to be the subject. So to make t the subject, we will square root both sides. And when you square root, we get a positive and a negative value. So 7c minus 3 over 1 plus 8c equals to t. That is your final answer. Then we have differentiation. They have given us an equation, y equals to 4x cubed plus 5x squared plus 2x. We have to find dy by dx. So for dy by dx, we're just going to differentiate the equation. When you're differentiating an equation, you bring the power down, multiply it with the coefficient, and then subtract 1 from the original power. So I brought 3 down, multiplied it by 4, and then subtracted 1 from 3. Again, bring the power down, 2 times 5x to the power of 2 minus 1. Same thing, x has a power of 1 over here. So 1 times 2x to the power of 1 minus 1. 12x squared plus 10x plus 2 times x to the power of 0. Since anything to the power of 0 is 1, so we have 12x squared plus 10x plus 2 as the value of dy by dx. Then it says find the coordinates of the turning points on the graph with the equation y equals to 4x cubed plus 5x squared plus 2x. So it's the same equation. So for the turning points, what you do is you put your dy by dx equal to 0. Then you solve that equation for x. And once you get the values, you put them back into the original equation to find the corresponding y values to complete the coordinate. So based on what I just said, our dy by dx value was 12x squared plus 10x plus 2. We put that equal to 0. So 12x squared plus 10x plus 2. All of the terms are divisible by 2. So when we divide everything by 2, what we get is 6x squared plus 5x plus 1. Now we have to factorize this. So to factorize this equation, you can use the quadratic formula or splitting the middle term. If we use splitting the middle term, we have to multiply the coefficient of x squared with the constant. So 6 times 1 is 6. Then we need to list down other factors of 6, which are 3 and 2. After this, we need to pick that set of factors, which when added or subtracted gives us the middle term, which is 5. 3 plus 2 is also 5. 6 minus 1 is also 5. But I'm going to pick 3 plus 2. Why? Because 6 minus 1 would not help us in further factorizing this equation. So 6x squared plus 3x plus 2x plus 1. As you can see, we split the 5x into 3x plus 2x. Now we split the equation into two groups. The first two terms make one group and the last two terms make another group. In the first group, we have 3x common. So we're left with 2x plus 1 in the bracket. In the last two terms, we have 1 common. So we're left with 2x plus 1 in the bracket. Between 3x and 1, we have 2x plus 1 common. So that leaves 3x plus 1 in the other bracket. So one value of x is negative 1 over 2 and the other is negative 1 over 3. So using these two values of x, we're going to find the corresponding y values. At x equals to negative 1 over 2, y is going to be 4 times negative 1 over 2 cube plus 5 times negative 1 over 2 plus 2 times negative 1 over 2. That gives us negative 1 over 4. That is one y value. And for the other one, we substitute negative 1 over 3. So y is 4 times negative 1 over 3 cube plus 5 times negative 1 over 3. This is square root of here, is that? Square plus 2 times negative 1 over 3. That gives us a value of negative 7 over 27. So this is your coordinate for the turning points. Then we have a recurring decimal question. So use algebra to show that 0.702 with 7 and 2 recurring equals to 26 over 37. So in this case, 7 and 2 are recurring. So we can assume that x equals to 0.702, 702, 702, and so on, like it's recurring. Our goal is to make sure that we create a fraction from this. So to create a fraction, we need to move the decimal, obviously. So let's say we multiply x by 1,000. 1,000x would be 702.702, and so on. So right now, if I subtract 1,000x and x, you will notice that all of the numbers after the decimal disappear. Why? Because they're exactly the same. So when you subtract the two, we're left with whole numbers. 1,000x minus x is 999x. 702.702 minus 0.702 is 702. X is going to be 702 divided by 999. Both will come in the 9 times table. So if we simplify this, 702 divided by 9 is 78. And 999 divided by 9 is 111. Again, we can divide both of them by 3. 78 divided by 3 is 26. And 111 divided by 3 is 37, which is exactly the same as the fraction in the question. If you're someone who struggles with understanding recurring decimals, I'm attaching a link above for the topic-wise video. You'll come across several questions in that playlist which discuss the same thing, and by practicing those questions, you will be more fluent in solving these questions. Then we have a quadratic inequality. So they want us to solve the inequality, which is 4x squared plus 4x minus 15 less than 0. We have to show clear algebraic working. So for this, you need to remember that solving a quadratic inequality is very much the same as solving a quadratic equation. The only difference is that when you're solving a quadratic inequality, you give your answer in a very different way. It's like a range of values. It's not your specific value. So initial steps are the same. The final steps are slightly different. So what we need to do is first we need to factorize this quadratic equation. So we have 4x squared plus 4x minus 15 less than 0. Once again, you can use splitting the middle term or the quadratic formula, whichever is easy for you to use. I'm going to go with splitting the middle term. So I multiply the quotient of x squared with the constant. So 4 times 15 is going to give us 60. Now we need to write factors of 60. We have 6 and 10. We have 60 and 1. 20 and 3, 30 and 2, 12 and 5, and what else? I think that's about it. Yeah, there is no other factor for 16. So we have to pick that set of factor, which when added or subtracted gives us the middle value. And as you can see, 10 minus 6 is going to give us 4. So we will replace the 4x with 10x minus 6x. Everything else is as it is. Then you're going to split the equation into two groups. This is one group, this is the other group. We're going to factorize these two groups separately first. So the highest common factor in 4x squared and 10x is 2x. So that leaves 2x plus 5 in the bracket. Between negative 6x and negative 15, we have negative 3. So that's 2x plus 5 again in the bracket. Between 2x and negative 3, we have 2x plus 5 common. So 2x minus 3 comes in the other bracket. Now comes the part where it's different from solving a quadratic equation. We don't have something equal to 0, we have the brackets less than 0. So what you will do is, you will draw a rough sketch. These two are representing your x-intercepts. So one x-intercept is negative 5 over 2 and the other is 3 over 2. Since our y, like the equation is basically equal to y if you come to think about it, okay? So y is less than 0. If y is less than 0, it's less than 0 underneath the x-axis, right? If y is less than 0 underneath the x-axis, that means we will look at the behavior of negative 5 over 2 and 3 over 2 underneath the x-axis. So keeping that in mind, your negative 5 over 2 is going towards the right-hand side, which means it's increasing in value. Whereas 3 over 2 is going towards the left-hand side. It's decreasing in value. So that means x is going to be less than 3 over 2, but greater than negative 5. This is how it's different from solving a quadratic equation. You write your answer as an inequality now. Then the next question says 120 gardeners were asked if they grow carrots or potatoes or tomatoes. Of these gardeners, 43 grow carrots, 12 grow carrots and potatoes and tomatoes, 18 grow carrots and potatoes, 27 grow carrots and tomatoes, 32 grow potatoes and tomatoes, and 29 do not grow either of these. The number of these gardeners who grow only potatoes is equal to the number of these gardeners who grow only tomatoes. Complete the Venn diagram to show the information. So we have 120 in total. We know that 29 do not grow either, and 12 grow all three. 32 grow potatoes and tomatoes. So 32 is going to be potatoes and tomatoes. All of this is 32. So a part of 32 is 12. That means over here it's going to be 20. A lot of kids make the mistake of saying that this part is 32. That's incorrect. 32 is the entire intersection between potatoes and tomatoes. So if a part of it is 12, the remaining is going to be 32 minus 12, which is 20. Similarly, we know 18 grow carrots and potatoes. So 18 carrots and potatoes. So that's all of this. So if a part of it is 12, the remaining is going to be 6. Now all of this is 18. Then we know that carrots and tomatoes are 27. So 27 minus 12, 15. So that's going to come over here. Let me highlight this in a different color as well. This is your carrots and tomatoes. So all of this is 27. Now, what about the remaining ones? we know 43 grow carrots. So now 43 is going to be the entire circle. That's 43. Not just over here, all of it is 43. So what we will do is to find the number of gardeners who only grow carrots. Only carrots. That's going to be 43 minus 15 minus 12 minus 6. That gives us a value of 10. So 10 comes over here. Then they said that the number of gardeners who grow only potatoes is equal to the number of gardeners who grow only tomatoes. So we can say both of these are x because they're saying who grow only potatoes and only tomatoes are equal. So 120 is the total number of gardeners that we have. So 120 equals to sum of all of these. So 10 plus 6 plus 12 plus 15 plus 20 plus the 29 that's outside and then plus the 2 x's. Remember, you do not write the values that are overlapping twice. You only write them once. That's why you don't see anything repeated. The only thing that's repeated is the x because they said that the number of people who only grow potatoes are equal to the number of people who only grow tomatoes. So now let's find the value of x. So 10 plus 6 plus 12 plus 15 plus 20 plus 29. That gives us 92. Then we do 120 minus 92. That's 28. 28 divided by 2 is 14. So number of people who grow only potatoes and tomatoes are 14. So that's a complete Venn diagram. Then they're saying find the number of T complement intersection C. So T complement intersection C is going to be, T complement means everything outside of T, but intersecting with C. So that's 10 and 6. So that's going to be 60. Complement means outside of that thing. So T complement means everything outside of T, but intersecting with C. So that leaves 10 and 6 in C. So that equals to 16. Then one of the gardeners who grows carrots is chosen at random. Calculate the probability that this gardener also grows potatoes. So he grows carrots, so that means 43 people grew carrots, and he also grows potatoes. So that is 6 and 12, the intersection between them. So 6 plus 12 over 43, 18 over 43 is your probability. That's your answer. Then it says the diagram shows a cuboid. The cuboid measures 3x centimeters by 2x centimeters by y centimeters. The volume of the cuboid is 1014 centimeter cube. The total surface area of the cuboid is a centimeter square. Show that a equals to 12x square plus 1690 over x. You must show all the stages of your working. So using the volume, we'll create an equation and then use that to find the surface area equation. So we know volume is length times width times height. So 2x times 3x times y. So 1014 equals to 6x squared y. Since the area equation in terms of x, that means we will make y the subject over here, put it in terms of x so that we can replace it back and make the equation entirely in terms of x. So 1014 divided by 6 is 169. So 169 over x squared is equal to y. Now for the surface area, it's 3x times y times 2 plus 2 times y times 2x plus 2 times 3x times 2x. So 3x times 169 over x squared times 2 plus 2 times 169 over x squared times 2x plus 3x times 2x is 6x squared times 2, 12x squared. Now let's simplify these brackets. The x gets cancelled out, and 3 times 169 times 2 is 1014 over x plus 169 times 4, 676 over x plus 12x squared. 1014 plus 676 is 1690. So 1690 over x plus 12x squared is your equation for the surface area, which is exactly what the question was asking us to show. Then the diagram shows a square inside a rectangle ABCD. The total area of the region shown here in the diagram is x centimeter square. AB is 11.5 centimeters, correct to the nearest 0.5 centimeters. BC is 9.2 centimeters, correct to two significant figures. Side of square is 4.1 centimeter, correct to two significant figures. By considering bounds, work out the value of x to a suitable degree of accuracy. Show your working area. So we'll obviously find the area of the rectangle ABCD and subtract the area of the square from it to get the area of the shaded region. So for that, area of ABCD minus area of square. This is our equation. So since we're doing subtraction, for this you must know that if you're trying to find the upper bound in subtraction, it's upper bound minus lower bound. If you're trying to find the lower bound in subtraction, it's lower bound minus upper bound. So since we have to work out the value of x to a suitable degree of accuracy, we need to find the upper bound of x and the lower bound of x. And x being our shaded region. So x basically equals to area of ABCD minus area of square. So for the upper bound of x, we need the upper bound for the area of ABCD and the lower bound of area of the square. So area of ABCD, upper bound. Whenever we're trying to find the upper bound in multiplication, we multiply upper bound with the upper bound, which means we need the upper bound of AB and upper bound of BC. Upper bound of AB, it's 11.5 centimeters, correct to the nearest 0.5 meter. So whatever it's nearest to, you divide that by 2. So 0.5 divided by 2 is going to be 0.25. So upper bound would be 11.5 plus 0.25, which is 11.75 centimeters. Then for upper bound of BC, the length is 9.2 centimeters, correct to two significant figures. So whenever it's correct to like some number of significant figures, first what you do is you check what the second significant figure is. Second significant figure is 2 over here. Then you check what is the place value of 2. Place value of 2 is 0.1. So we divide the place value by 2, and that is 0.05 for this. So upper bound would be 9.2 plus 0.05, which is 9.25 centimeters. So upper bound of ABCD area is going to be 11.75 times 9.25, which gives us a value of 108.6875 centimeters square. Okay, now we find the lower bound of ABCD. So for the lower bound of ABCD, your lower bound would be, for BC, lower bound would be 9.2 minus 0.05, which gives us 9.15. And over here, it would be 11.5 minus 0.25, which is 11.25 centimeters. So 11.25 times 9.15, that gives us 102.9375 centimeters square. We have the upper bound of ABC and the lower bound of ABC. Now we need to work out the upper bound and lower bound of the area of the square. So the side of the square is 4.1 correct to two significant figures. So same steps for that. Your second significant figure in 4.1 is 1, and the place value of 1 is 0.1. So 0.1 divided by 2 is 0.05. So upper bound is going to be 4.1 plus 0.05, and lower bound is going to be 4.1 minus 0.05. So that's 4.15 centimeters, and the other one is going to be 4.05 centimeters. So upper bound of square area, that's going to be 4.15 times 4.15, which equals 17.2225 centimeters square. And lower bound of square area is going to be 4.05 times 4.05. That equals 16.4025 centimeters square. Now comes the time to find the upper bound and lower bound of x. X upper bound, we subtract upper bound of ABCD, 108.6875, and lower bound of square, 16.4025. That gives us 92.285 centimeters square. Then lower bound of x, that's going to be lower bound of ABCD, 102.9375 minus upper bound of the area of square, 17.2225. That gives us 85.715 centimeters square. We have to work out the value of x to a suitable degree of accuracy. So our value of x has to be between these two. So based on this, I think the value of x should be 90 centimeters square. Then we have algebraic fractions. 4x squared minus 4x minus 120 is divided by 5x squared minus 120. Then divided by another fraction, which is x squared plus 5x divided by 10x squared plus 60x. And this entire thing equals to p, where p is an integer. We have to find the value of p. So for that, we have to factorize the numerators and the denominators and then simplify the fractions and then divide the two fractions. So if you look at the numerator over here, we can begin with taking 4 common. So 4 bracket x squared minus x minus 30. And over here, we can take 5 common. So that's going to be x squared minus 36. I'm going to change the division to times and take the reciprocal of the second fraction. So we have 10x squared plus 6x over x squared plus 5x. And this equals to p. Now, if we notice, we have a quadratic equation. So we need to factorize this quadratic equation. X squared minus x minus 30. 1 times 30 is 30. Factors of 30 are 3 and 10, 5 and 6, 15 and 2, and 30 and 1. I'm going to pick 5 and 6 because x squared minus 6x plus 5x gives the same thing as the initial equation. So we're splitting it up. the negative x gets split into negative 6x plus 5x. Factorize it, x bracket x minus 6 plus 5 bracket x minus 6, and we have x minus 6 times x plus 5. Okay, so this becomes x minus 6 times x plus 5. The denominator, we can see that we have difference of perfect squares. X is being squared, 36 is also squared. So we can rewrite that as x minus 6 times x plus 6. For this step, you need to know difference of perfect squares. If you don't know how to use difference of perfect squares, you can check out the link above for solving, factorizing equations, especially quadratic ones, because in that playlist, I'm discussing different types of ways in which you can factorize a quadratic equation. Then over here, between 10x squared and 6x, we have 2x common. So 5x plus 3 over here. And between x squared and 5x, we have x common, so x plus 5 over here. Oh, this is a 60, wait. 60x, so that's going to make this 10x common. So we have x plus 6 common in the bracket. Yeah. Okay. So now we can start simplifying it. The simplification can be done vertically or diagonally. Vertically, we can see that x minus 6 gets cancelled out. Diagonally, we can see that x plus 6 gets cancelled out and the x plus 5 gets cancelled out. The x also gets cancelled out. 5 ones are 5, this becomes 2. So you're left with 4 times 2 equals to p, and that's 8. So 8 equals to p is your answer for this one. Then for this one, I think this was the odd one in this one, like the most confusing one. Everything else was like quite straightforward. So it says the diagram shows a square-based pyramid ABCDE. EA equals to EB equals to EC equals to ED. M is the center of the horizontal square base ABCD. Q is the midpoint of AB. Angle EQM is 80 degrees. EA is to AB is n is to 1. Find the value of n, giving your answer correct to 3 simplifiers. So for this, as you know, we have the angle EQM. So if I draw a line over here, a line over here, this is your M, this is your Q. This is 90 over here, and that's 80 degrees over here. So what I will do is I will begin with assuming that this is like we know this is a square base. So I can say that BC is 2x and AB is also 2x, AD is 2x and DC is 2x. AD equals to DC equals to AB equals to BC, and that is 2x. So it means BQ will be x and AQ will also be x. Similarly, QM will also be x because these are the midpoints. So using this, we can figure out measurements for EQ because we need EQ to figure out a value for EA. So we know EQ is the hypotenuse for this right angle triangle, and we have the adjacent, which is x, based on our assumption, and we have the angle. So let's create a value for the hypotenuse in terms of x as well. So we can use cos of AD equals to x over EQ. So EQ is going to be x over cos of AD, which is going to give us 5.76x. Now, we have assumed that AQ is x. We can figure out something for EA. EA, this is another right angle triangle over here, by the way. So we can use Pythagoras because we don't have an angle over here. So EA is the hypotenuse. So EA squared equals to EQ squared plus QA squared. So EA squared is 5.76x squared plus Q is x squared. That's going to be 33.177 x squared plus x squared, which is 34.177 x squared. So that's EA squared. EA, we take the square root over here. So EA is going to be 5.846x. We have to create a ratio for EA is to AB, which equals to n is to 1. So 5.846x is to AB, which is 2x. The x gets cancelled out. So we do 5.846 divided by 2 and 2 divided by 2 over here because this has to be 1. So that gives us 2.92 is to 1. So n is 2.92, correct the 3 significant figures. That's your answer. Then we had completing the square. So it says that write 28.24x minus 6x squared in the form of a minus b times x minus c whole square, where a, b, and c are integers. So this is once again very similar to something that's come in the past papers, like very frequently. They will ask you to convert it into completing square form first, and then they're asking us to sketch a graph using the turning point and the y-intercept. Very simple if we've done questions in the past. So first, let's rearrange this in ascending order, starting from the highest power of x. It's going to be negative 6x squared plus 24x plus 28. When you're turning an equation to completing square form, the first step is to rearrange it like this. And the next step is to make sure that the coefficient of x squared is 1. So to make sure that the coefficient of x squared is 1, I'm going to take negative 6 common from the entire equation, not just x squared, the entire equation. It's going to be negative 6 bracket x squared minus 4x plus minus 28 over 6. Now, once we've done that, we have to complete the square. So the square that we have to complete is this. So for completing this square, you need to remember that a complete square is either a minus b whole square or a plus b whole square. Since it's minus over here, so we're going to use a minus b whole square, which is basically a square minus 2ab plus b squared. We have our a square, which is x, which means a is equal to x. And our 2ab is 4x. So 4x equals to 2xb. I replaced a with x. So 4x over 2x is b, which is 2. So our b value is 2, which means over here, we're going to do negative 6 bracket x squared minus 4x plus 2 squared, the b square value, but minus 2 squared as well, because b square is the new value that we're introducing in this equation. So if we're adding something, we're supposed to subtract the same thing as well. So since we're adding 2 squared, we subtract 2 squared as well. So now, when we complete the square, it's going to be x minus 2 whole square. This is the complete square. And this minus 2 square comes outside as minus 4. And minus 28 over 6 comes out as it is. Now we multiply negative 6 with the entire thing. So negative 6 times the bracket. We don't expand the bracket because they're not asking us to do that. Negative 6 times negative 4 is plus 24. Negative 6 times negative 28 over 6 is positive 28. So that is going to give us negative 6 times x minus 2 whole square plus 52. This is our answer in completing square form as mentioned in the question. Now to sketch this, basically the completing square form helps us in identifying the turning point. So our completing square form was y equals to negative 6 times x minus 2 squared plus 52. So turning point is basically 2 and 52. These are your turning points. This is your x coordinate, this is your y coordinate. And remember, if it's x plus 2 whole square in the bracket, then you would write -2 as the x coordinate. The general form of the completing square form is x minus something, not x plus. So if it's x plus, that means the negative sign comes with the coordinate. So turning point is 252. So x equals to 2, y equals to 52. So let's say this is x equals to this is y equals to 52. So that's over here. Now it's saying that show clearly the coordinates of the turning point and the coordinates of the intersection of the graph with the y-axis. So for that, we put x equals to 0. So at x equals to 0, y is going to be 28 plus 24 times 0 minus 6 times 0 square. So that's 28. So 28 is going to be somewhere over here, let's say. So for a turning point, that's going to be something like this. I know it's a little crooked, but like the basic shape would be like this. We have a maximum value of 252. And then we have an x coordinate. And then we have y-intercept of 0 and 28. So 0, 28. And this is 252. That's a sketch. The next is a question on similar solids, but using volume. So it says that A and B are two similar solids. The height of solid A is 31 centimeters and the height of solid B is 18.6 centimeters. Given that the volume of solid A minus volume of solid B is 735 centimeter cube, find the volume of solid A. So for this, we know that for volume, your height of A divided by height of B cubed equals to volume of A divided by volume of B. So height of A is 31, height of B is 18.6, whole cube equals to volume of A over volume of B. Let's find the value of this first. 31 divided by 18.6, and then we cube this. That's going to be 4.629. So 4.629. That's volume of A over volume of B. So they're asking us to find the volume of solid A. So if we cross multiply volume of B times 4.629 equals to volume of A, and we say that volume of B is volume of A divided by 4.629. Now we substitute this in this equation given because it says volume of solid A minus volume of solid B is 735. So VA minus VA over 4.629 equals to 735. So 4.629 VA minus VA over 4.629 equals to 735. That's going to be 3.629 VA equals to 735 times 4.629. That's 3400.11. The volume of A is going to be 3400.11 over 3.629, and that equals to 936.9 centimeter cube. That is the answer for the volume of solid A. And with that, we're done with the questions from paper 2 higher for the May June 2025 series. This was the IGCSE Edexcel Maths A paper. I'll be posting a separate video for 1 HR and 2 HR for May June 2025. If you're someone's looking for the 2024 papers, I'm attaching a link above for the playlist. And if you have any questions or confusions, please leave a comment below. I'll help you out. And if you understood everything, please like and subscribe and share this video with your friends.